Probably not.
I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. Let's stay here for a lifetime underneath the moonlight, 'cause I don't want us to go. No, I don't want us to go. Yeah, you could be my lifeline, you could be my sunshine in a world so full of pain. Can you make it go away? It used to be so sad that love was lost, but now it's here to stay. Yeah, I used to be uncomfortable, but look at me today. Never thought I'd find someone like you, someone to show the way. But now I know you're the answer to my prayer. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I'm sorry for the burden, sorry I was hurting, but my scars are almost healed. Yeah, my scars are almost healed. Yeah, I'm feeling like a child now. Everything's alright now, and it's all because of you. You made the flower in me bloom. Used to be afraid of everything, but now there's no more fear. Yeah, I used to let nobody in and hide my face with tears. Always thought of you as someone who can love someone like me, but I was wrong. Baby, now I believe. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Danae Show. I am Danielle Danea, aka Danae, and I've got a lot to say. So let's get into it. Ooh, my eye. Ooh, start twitching. Okay. The U.S. stopped sending funds to Ukraine. Let's discuss it. So, wow. Donald Trump is not playing. Like I said, he is over it. Yeah, he's putting his foot down. When it comes to disrespect, it is not tolerated. Kudos to him. Shout out to him. This is what, guys, this is what a good president, a good example of a president looks like. if you don't know. This is what needs to happen in our country. Our country needs to be ran by somebody like this, that does not tolerate disrespect, that puts his foot down when things are wrong. Again, people don't like him for that, but it's the most admirable thing to people like me and a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans, because again, we haven't seen this in so long, and we got to appreciate it, because this is what happens. This is how you get results. It's not kikiing, playing nice, brushing things over, downplaying situations. It's acknowledging what is in the moment and handling it in the way it needs to be handled in order to see progress. So I just want to say that before we get into it. But yeah, man, he stopped sending funds to Ukraine. President Donald Trump stopped sending funds to Ukraine as a result of the meeting that happened with President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and President Zelensky, President of Ukraine. Now, I covered all of what I thought happened yesterday. You guys can watch that video. It's posted on my YouTube from yesterday. But I have to shift my opinions a little bit on what I covered yesterday, because I did a little more research and I had a conversation with my boyfriend. And I was like, I was kind of off about some of the stuff I said. I said yesterday, context is really a big thing. I was talking about, everybody was posting little clips of a video that was 40, almost 50 minutes long. And a lot of context was taken out of that little clip. But I had to get more context on the whole situation, what the meeting was for, how he said certain things, certain things that were done prior to. I had to learn a whole bunch of other things before I just had an opinion solely based on the video. Because that's what it was. I watched the video and then I had an opinion on it. But I had to realize a whole bunch of other things before I talked about this video. Because, again, so much information that was there. So I learned about it, and now I'm going to speak on a specific thing that I think I was wrong about. So initially in my video yesterday, I said that, J.D. Vance, I feel like overreacted. I didn't think what President Zelensky said was disrespectful, but I realized it's not what he said specifically that was disrespectful. It was the fact that he was even bringing it up in the first place. I come to realize this meeting wasn't about this war that's happening in Ukraine. This meeting was about signing this minerals deal to potentially sign and agree to, more minerals being shared to them by the U.S., right? So the disrespect was, you're talking about the disrespect coming from J.D. Vance's point of view. It's like, to Zelensky, it's like, you're talking about the war when you came here to talk about, you're supposed to have come here to talk about minerals and this deal being signed off on. So in that perspective, I understand why J.D. Vance was irritated. I understand that he probably was extra irritated because he was quiet. Again, the first 30 minutes or so, J.D. Vance was completely mute. It was a conversation that had between President Donald Trump and President Zelensky. So again, the whole conversation was about the war. That's why I thought this meeting was about the war, because initially you see, Donald Trump mentioning, acknowledging the general troops in the war, giving them their props, and Zelensky showing photos of what happened because of the war. So I'm over here thinking, this must be a conversation about the war, because everybody's talking about the war, or more so Zelensky is. But no, this was about this mineral deal. So J.D. Vance sitting and having the conversation about the war. J.D. Vance is probably fed up, like, why are we talking about this? This is not why we're here. I know I'd be irritated if I had a meeting specifically scheduled to talk about one thing and then it's completely derailed and talked about something else. I'd be like, what the heck is going on? So in that perspective, again, I completely understand. But I also, my boyfriend and I have kind of disagreement about this. I just think that, initially, the war shouldn't have been encouraged. Like, even the conversation about the war shouldn't have been encouraged. I know, it's a heavy subject. It needs to be maybe discussed, but again, not as the main topic. It should have been something kind of thrown in there. It just felt like it was fixated from the jump. Again, he was acknowledging the troops. My boyfriend thinks that was just like a respect thing, to acknowledge that we know your troops are hard at work. It was, just to acknowledge that, that he's respectful of them and acknowledges the hard work they're put in. But to me, again, and I think a lot of other people, it just seemed like he wanted to talk about it. I don't know. And, and when Zelensky was showing the pictures of what happened in the war, I think if Donald Trump really didn't want to discuss it, he should have been like, or really maybe not wanting to discuss it, but wanted to focus more on what they were there for, understandably so, the minerals deal. The pictures should have been like, okay, I'll look at it later. Let's talk about this deal. Some type of transition initially, so it didn't get so dragged. It didn't get dragged so long down the line, talked about for the rest of the time. I feel like that should have been nipped in the bud from the start. But anyway, just my opinion. President Donald Trump knows what he's doing. I have trust in him. But I just wanted to say I think I was wrong about that. I think J.D. Vance, I can admit I'm wrong. I think J.D. Vance was understandably so. He should have been upset about what Zelensky said. It was disrespectful. Just keep talking about a topic that we're not here for. I kept on saying, I said this yesterday. I was like, he was mad at him for litigating this incident in front of the world. And I was just like, no, that's what you're there for. But absolutely, I was wrong. No, they weren't there to talk about that. They were there to talk about the minerals deal. So I just wanted to clarify. I learned, like I said, more information. So more information, I'm telling you, it matters, because now my opinion on what happened is completely different. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. So again, this meeting, if you weren't aware, this meeting was to sign a minerals deal for the U.S. to provide more minerals, right, and help out Ukraine even more, right? And the deal obviously didn't go through, right? And this is what transpired. The U.S. stopped sending funds. So yeah, again, it's crazy that his disrespect was not tolerated. I was like, ooh. Didn't waste no time. This just happened yesterday, guys. This stop funding thing happened yesterday. The meeting happened on Friday. But that's very quick. That's a very quick turnaround. Donald Trump was like, oh, no. I think, because I also saw clips of Zelensky. He was saying that he still wanted the deal to go through despite the disastrous meeting. And it was just like, huh? It's like, what? Was there an apology said in private that we don't know about? And again, if there was, no, the apology should be as public as the disrespect was. My boyfriend says it every time. Like, the apologies should be just as loud as the initial statement, the disrespect, the false statement, or whatever. So yeah, no, I don't think that happened. But the audacity of this man, it's so funny. The woman in me yesterday, I really wanted to show grace and be like, oh, they went on him too hard. I don't get this. And again, putting up the language barrier excuse and maybe like, oh, maybe he doesn't understand. Now I'm kind of thinking, after seeing all his actions and his interviews, he knew what the heck he was doing. He did. He just, he played his cards. And it's so crazy now that I'm, again, getting all this information and watching this man move after this meeting. It's so funny now seeing in the video of the meeting that Trump mentions, you don't have the cards in a card game. And I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't understand what he means by that. Again, an English barrier. Sometimes we say stuff that other countries don't understand, but no, like Zelensky came to the White House playing games. He really did. And he was just mad he lost. Those facial expressions, the mannerisms that I thought I was reading so correctly, the irritation in his face and the awkwardness is because he was dealing with Trump, as opposed to probably he would have dealt with Biden. He was dealing with somebody that was not taking any of his ish, calling him out. In the part in the meeting where Zelensky was saying that, we called a ceasefire. I called a ceasefire with other higher ups in Europe or whatever, presidents. And it didn't work out. Putin went back on his word. And Trump was like, that's not going to happen with me. Putin's not going to go back on his word with me. You thought I was like them? Just wait and see. You're saying in this meeting just a small taste of my capabilities. And again, so gangster. Like, that is so freaking crazy. Charles Trek says, a woman taking accountability, that's new. Yeah, it is very rare and not done amongst a lot of women in the community, but in especially the Black community. But I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I used to. I'm not going to sit here in front, but I have to acknowledge it, because if I want better for other people, I have to do better, and being better is acknowledging when you're wrong and apologizing. So thank you, Charles Trek, for calling that out. Yes, I was wrong when it came to my opinion on JD Vance's reaction yesterday when I spoke about it yesterday. So yeah, yeah, but the fact that, again, back to Trump, I thought initially when I reviewed the video that he was doing the most, saying that, Biden was so bad, I'm so good, and it's just like, okay, we heard that, but it's like you have to reiterate it when people like Zelensky come to your Oval Office and start playing in your face like this, right? The initial disrespect to him not wearing a suit, I said that yesterday, but to bring up the war when you're supposed to be talking about the mineral deal, and then make it seem like we haven't helped you when asking for more help. It's like, what is going on? It's like, huh? I gave you billions of dollars. I looked it up. The U.S. has been the main supplier for weapons for Ukraine. For the last 3 years, they've been at war, right? And to sound ungrateful, like, I get it. President Donald Trump just became president, so you can't knock him. He wasn't president when this craziness was going on. And okay, you're acknowledging when Biden was president, things didn't go as great as they would. But hello, Donald Trump couldn't help that. He wasn't president. So to come here and be like, well, it's your country, you're president, you're responsible. It's just like, huh? Nobody is trying to make you responsible for another leader, the leaders that were before you, for your failed attempts. So don't try to put Biden's failed attempts on now President Donald Trump. He's literally, it's so funny that so many people that don't like Trump are expecting Trump to, do all these things, and like, oh, where's this, and he's done, and the fact that it's crazy, he's done so much, but it's also like, he's only been president for 2 months now. A few months. So relax. This is freaking insane. I was like, what are you... Again, people just find something to be mad about, and I'm just completely over it. I'm done talking about it, but it's just like, seems like every day someone is mad at somebody for something that they should be actually praising them for doing. And President Donald Trump should absolutely be praised for how he responded to this. A reason why I read an article, and then kind of the reason why President Donald Trump another reason why he stopped sending funds to Ukraine is because he really doesn't believe that Zelensky wants peace after this meeting. Understandably so. The meeting ended kind of on disrespectful terms. Not kind of, it did. One. And then again, he goes off on interviews saying that, I still want this deal, I want it to happen, selfishly so, not apologizing to anybody, not, being understanding about what was said in the meeting, not trying to understand what was said in the meeting. Like, I love my conversation with my boyfriend, because even though I may have my solid opinion, may be full-hearted behind my opinion, I'm willing to hear him out. Because again, he knows way more than me, for one, and I care about him so much that I want to understand his perspective, and his perspective might sway mine. But the fact that Zelensky's not even willing to hear out a perspective, he's not willing to, JD Vance was like. And this is something else I messed up on. I was saying that, Zelensky said thank you twice in the initial part of the meeting that happened in the Oval Office, right? He said it twice, and I was acknowledging. He said thank you twice because JD Vance called him out on not saying thank you. But JD Vance wasn't calling out him saying the words thank you. It was him saying that you're not saying thank you for what we've done. You're saying thank you for allowing me in the Oval Office. But you're not saying thank you for all the money we sent over, all the weapons we've been funding, right? And I took that way out of context. It's another perspective my boyfriend gave to me. I was just like, oh, well, you got to look past like things people say. I take people very literal for everything they say, right? I'm like, well, he didn't say thank you, he did. But that was, no, I should have known what he meant. And people should know what he meant. He obviously is talking about thank you in the context of what he's speaking about. Obviously, he was talking about all the things America has done for him, and then Zelensky brought for his country, and then Zelensky had to push back. Obviously, he's talking about saying thank you for all the opportunities and the money he's given, not saying thank you for having the meeting, right? So there's that. He wasn't grateful. He wasn't grateful. And I love that President Donald Trump said, I'm glad this is happening in front of everybody. And I'm glad it happened in front of everybody because we can rewatch it. We can talk about it. We can have our opinions. We can have our agreements, disagreements. But it's ours to have, whereas it would just be theirs to have if this wasn't recorded. And all we could do is speculate if they decided to talk about it or whatever. If they just decided to move past and move past it. And Donald Trump... Interesting. If President Donald Trump did not record this meeting and the same stuff happened, everything that happened, and then just decided to stop funding Ukraine and for all of us to see, people would be people are living anyway. People would be like, oh, what the heck? Why would Trump do that? And all of us would be taken back, and all the questions would be like, why? And then Donald Trump would have to do press conference after press conference trying to maybe explain it or maybe avoid talking about it. So again, that puts, I think it did Trump a great lot of good recording this meeting, even though it might have been not something that was easy, not something that maybe he wanted, but the fact that he put whatever feelings aside, maybe he suggested it happen. I don't know. But if he didn't want it to happen and had it happen, that should be proof enough that Donald Trump cares about us enough to let us know what's going on. And another point, Trump says he doesn't believe Zelensky is set on peace. Absolutely agree. When someone is benefiting from something, even if it's something tragic, something that you would think that, what the heck? Why would they even allow this to happen, let alone this drastically? It's because when people get a benefit out of it, they look past any bad thing happening. It has to really be something bad where it's affecting his wife, his kids. But if it's not, and it's just affecting the military troops, he's never going to want peace. And Zelensky is benefiting from this war. He's getting all this money, most money my boyfriend said he's ever had. In his whole entire life, he's getting all this money. So why would he want this war to end? The moment the war ends, the moment the funding stops. But joke's on him, the funding stops before this war ends. And that's just more reason why this move on Donald Trump's part is amazing. Amazing. Because he could have continued to still fund even after the disrespect would have been wild. But feeding into the mainstream media and what they have been doing for years, just keeping that up, he could have done that. But what good would that have done? None. And I love that he says, and he's like, until you call a ceasefire with Russia, I'm out. And the fact that this grown man, Zelensky is so upset with Putin, understandably so. But if you want, again, I said this on my show yesterday, if you want a result out of somebody, you can't avoid them. That never works. and just spewing out your hate for that person all the time. That doesn't solve anything. You need to be emotionally secure enough, have your emotions under control enough to have a civil conversation with somebody you don't like. You sit down and have a civil conversation with somebody you don't like. Even if you are at war, it happens with the best leaders. You compromise and you find a solution. But the fact that this man hasn't done that and hasn't agreed to do that, it doesn't look like there's any possibility of him doing that anytime soon. It's just like Trump is like, what am I doing? I'm standing on my word. I'm out. I'm not funding you for your degenerate behavior anymore. After that, it's like the parent that, loves their kid, that has been a part of their lives, really involved in their lives since they were a kid, paid for everything, made sure they went to the right schools and attended the right classes and all that. But now is doing drugs. Now is having sex with multiple women unprotected. If it's a boy, a girl, whatever. Is having sex with multiple people unprotected. Just doing craziness, degenerate behavior. And it's like they're still asking for them to fund their life. The parent, a lot of parents will look past that because they love the child so much. But it never helps in the long run. It always messes them up more. And in the entitlement just becomes stronger and stronger. And that's what I feel like is happening in this situation. Donald Trump has been funding this child for too long. And now he's got this entitlement coming into the Oval Office with no suit. Talking about, diplomacy hasn't worked. Again, I thought that was a valid point. And it was. If the topic was what the topic, if the war was the main topic of the meeting, that was a valid question to ask. But again, now it wasn't, because that's not the reason that they decided to meet. But put that aside, I said this in my episode yesterday, that was a valid thing. Why would I do what I've been doing again if it hasn't gotten me the results I've wanted? But Donald Trump said straight up, he was like, you haven't got the results with me here. I'm different. Let someone try me. It's not going to end well for them. You try me, see what's going to happen. And Zelensky effed around and found out today. Those billions are not going to be here anymore. Sorry, not sorry. So, again, shout out to Donald Trump for making the decision that's best for our country. That was best for him. And yeah, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the next few months, let alone these next 4 years. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least, if this is the type of behavior, if this is what we can expect from now going into the next 4 years. We are going to be a country that no one is going to want to F with. We're going to be the America that is worth defending, worth gloating about. We're going to be that VIP club that is so hard to get into, that everybody wants to get into because it's that exclusive. Right now, we're not that because of Biden, but with Trump, we are on our way. And this was the perfect start in order to get to that finish line. So, my apologies, JD Vance. I'm sorry. You're back in my good graces. I was like, this is something I disagree with now. But I can still love people and disagree with them. Again, totally me, but I just I don't know, I really thought he overreacted yesterday, but now again, people gotta realize, and I think women specifically gotta realize, like, disrespect for us is completely different from what it is in a man. And I'm starting to look at it like a different way. Like, stuff that's being said is seen completely different by men than it is by women. And women naturally, again, want to be loving and forgiving and overlook a lot of disrespect. Like, I'm telling you, if Kamala Harris was running this country, she would have been laughing the whole time. Zelensky, if this meeting happened with Kamala Harris, it would have been a joke for real. And she would just laugh. Zelensky probably called her out her name in Russian, and she'd be like, "Oh, you're so funny." It's a problem us women have, and I'm trying to get out of that problem. I'm just seeing. We like to see the potential in a lot of people, right? So I was over here like, oh, he's sitting down. He came, had the meeting. That's respectful. You know, he asked a valid question. You know, that's respectful. No. My boyfriend saw right through that BS when it came. And so many men do. And I'm trying to get to that point where I'm like that. It's going to take me a little bit of work because, again, women are naturally, nice. We play nice. Most of us. There's a lot of hard women out here. But most of us that are traditional, conservative, we are not trying to fight anybody. We are lovers. We are nurturers. But the disrespect was there. I think even a guy, it was so funny. As I was on my way here, we were watching a guy. My boyfriend and I were watching a guy review, talk about the meeting that was had in Oval Office by Zelensky, Trump, and J.D. Vance. And he was saying that even Zelensky mumbled something under his breath. He called J.D. Vance the Russian equivalent to a bitch, but actually worse. So I didn't hear that. And obviously, if you don't know Russian, you don't know what he said. But my point is the fact that he pinpointed that and nobody else did. I didn't see anybody review that. And the fact that it was a man that said it just proves my point even more. Men are more, they can see it, whether it's a glance. You guys know I love Anthony Hopkins. I am obsessed with that actor. I think he's one of the greatest actors that we have still alive right now, next to Denzel Washington, of course. But the first movie I saw Anthony Hopkins is in was, Lord, I just drew a blank. Meet Joe Black. And it's so funny, in the whole movie, there was a point where Anthony Hopkins feels disrespected in his boardroom. The guy who plays Drew disrespects him in his own boardroom, really does. And Anthony Hopkins does this thing where he steps toward him and looks at him like, oh, and I know that look because I've seen it actually in my dad when he's upset, but doesn't go off in the mouth. He just gives this look. He did the exact same thing in that movie, and I was so fascinated by it because it was like that's actually how men respond to respect, and it's wild. Disrespect, pardon me. That's what they do. They can pinpoint it and say so much with just a gesture that us women will overlook. He was definitely disrespectful with his words, but there was other things, I'm pretty sure, I have to watch the movie again, that the way he was moving, the way he was looking, Drew was looking at Anthony. It's so much that goes in it that some women will never be able to understand because it's a masculine, it's a man thing. But when you understand that, you start to understand the way men are. And I just thought that was very interesting because that's the true sign of a masculine man. You gotta respect somebody who acknowledges disrespect but doesn't go crazy, control their emotions enough not to swing on a person or to disrespect them verbally in a sense where it's like bitch every other word. It's just, I gotta give you a look. I gotta say one little word. I gotta fold my hands a certain way, clench my jaw. That's something men do. And not to try me. That's what I feel like Anthony did in that movie. That's what I feel like Trump did in that meeting. And his actions now stopping the funding is just, he's not to be played with, man. This is a man. You don't play with men who are real men. They are dangerous. They are dangerous, but in the best way. In the best way, meaning no one is going to try us again. Everybody's going to think twice before they open their mouths, which people should do anyway, but they're going to do. They don't. They're going to do when they step in a room with President Donald Trump, when they speak to Donald Trump. So, guys, I'm getting riled up. I'm like, whoa. But again, this is great. I am excited to get more into politics again. I'm very new in it. I was covering a lot of it during the election, but now that it's over, I have to understand. I have to understand what tariffs are. I have to, again, do my research on why people have meetings. It's a whole bunch of other stuff that I need to dive in to more to speak about this stuff in the way that, I can have a valid opinion without messing up like I did yesterday. That was the last mess up for me, guys. I'm going to make sure I do my research and understand the topic as much as I can before I cover it. So that's my promise to you guys. But again, that's all I have to say about that. Please like this video if you like this video. Please comment always. I love to hear you guys' opinions, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on the next video.
Aquel día el instinto nos decía que esa noche juntico no quería, que las ganas bebé nos quemaría, pero no fue así. Vamos lento, ya que si nos apuramos no disfrutamos del momento, ya, y lo vamos a arruinar. Dale lento, ya, dile a tus amigas que hoy no vas para afuera, que estás en la escuela y vamos a jugar. Ella sabe que quiero a mi mamacita. Ella también quiere que seamos felices. Ella, la que se apresura a la vueltica. Ella es sin timidez. Como la ves no le importa dónde y cuándo. No hay nada no hecho, no soy el que la mando. Nunca lo seré, su carácter no es de niña, que la puede controlar cualquiera. Y me encanta, yo lo sé, independiente. Vamos lento y verás. Y me encanta, yo lo sé, independiente. Vamos lento y verás. Vamos lento, ya, que si nos apuramos no disfrutamos del momento, ya, y lo vamos a arruinar. Dale lento, ya, dile a tus amigas que hoy no vas para afuera, que estás en la escuela y vamos los 7 días de la semana. Te doy de mañana y consejos sabes que no es. Te doy el desquite, que me quites todas esas ganas que te tengo, mujer. Todo el mundo sabe que tú y yo somos más que panas, pero nos vamos lento, que el que se apura no llega a nada, no llega a nada, nada. Y me encanta, yo lo sé, independiente, bebé. Vamos lento y verás. Y me encanta, yo lo sé, independiente, bebé. Vamos lento y verás. Vamos lento, ya, que si no se